Get to the airport 3 hours early. Returning British holidaymakers are warned over fears of chaos at passport control at EU airports this weekend. Holidaymakers trying to return from Europe this weekend have been told to get to airports at least 3 hours early amid fears of mayhem at passport control. Airline bosses say thousands of UK travellers could miss flights as airports struggle to cope with new EU border rules on one of the busiest weekends of the year. There was chaos earlier this week as UK tourists were left queuing for up to 4 hours at passport checks in Spain and France. But with 10 million people expected to pass through Europe's airports tomorrow and on Sunday, airlines fear a complete meltdown that could leave passengers stranded. Last night, it emerged British Airways and EasyJet were sending text alerts to customers urging them to turn up early. Ryanair said it was advising passengers to arrive at least 3 hours before departure on short-haul flights, instead of the usual 2. But Airlines for Europe, which represents airlines including the 3 firms, said these measures may not be enough at the worst-hit airports, and urged travelers to consider arriving even earlier. To make matters worse, passengers were warned they will not get compensation from their airline or be able to claim on their travel insurance if they miss a flight as a result. The chaos has been caused by EU rules that mean travelers from outside the Schengen-free movement zone are subject to stricter vetting at passport control. Instead of a few seconds, the process can now take up to 10 minutes. Airports have been accused of failing to prepare for the tougher checks by employing more staff to cope with the holiday season influx. Destinations popular with British travelers have been the worst hit, as the UK is outside the Schengen zone. Airlines for Europe predicts this weekend will be one of the busiest of the year, with around 5 million people flying in and out of European airports both tomorrow and on Sunday, double the average daily number. Palma Airport in Mallorca is expected to be one of the major flashpoints. Its passport control is expected to have to process a record 190,000 passengers tomorrow, as 1,117 flights pass through. Even those flying back to Britain from Palma during off-peak periods this week reported hour-long hold-ups at immigration. On Tuesday night, just 4 passport control guards were dealing with hundreds of passengers. Airlines are expecting bottlenecks at other airports such as Malaga, Amsterdam, and Lyon. BA last night said it had already texted customers flying back from Lyon, Madrid, Barcelona, and Milan Linate, but would extend the warnings. A spokesman said, "We are texting customers flying from airports that we know are having issues to ask them to arrive early." Government sources yesterday insisted Aviation Minister Lord Callanan had received assurances from counterparts in Spain, Portugal, Italy and France that more border staff would be supplied to man the gates in coming days. France's Interior Ministry has already said it will put 100 more border control staff at both of Paris's main airports. Government officials instructed airports to give updates on any major hold-ups for British travellers. But ministers have come under fire from lobby group Airlines UK for ignoring warnings about the problem in May. Tory MP Charlie Elphicke said, EU countries urgently need to ensure they have enough passport control officers to avoid airport chaos. Given the mismanagement of borders by the EU, holidaymakers should leave extra time. Clearly this is one of the biggest getaway weekends of the year, so long queues at airports are a real worry. Last night there were growing fears that passengers who miss flights could be left hundreds, or even thousands, of pounds out of pocket. The Association of British Insurers said the majority of policies will not pay out if a flight is missed because of delays at passport control. Most cover only specific mishaps such as mechanical failure, bad weather or strikes. Guy Anker of MoneySavingExpert.com said, "It is vital that you get to the airport as early as possible and check your airline's advice. There is a severe lack of safety nets if you do miss your flight." Alex Neil of Consumer Group Which said, "Passengers who miss a flight due to security queues are unlikely to qualify for compensation from their airline. as the time it takes to get through security is out of the airline's control. But he added they could be protected in certain circumstances, for example if there is a severe delay because the pilot faced a hold-up at passport control. Last night BA promised any passengers who miss a flight because of queues at border control can be rebooked onto a later flight for free. EasyJet and Ryanair last night refused to give similar assurances. Ryanair said it is customers' responsibility to arrive in time and it is up to European regulators to resolve the delays. An EasyJet spokesman said its staff would try to assist in prioritizing those whose flights are boarding.